Back when I grew up, everybody threw spinnerbaits. And if you look at the screen, you have got so many varieties of spinnerbaits. I mean, probably some of the very original spinnerbaits that were on the market in the very early days was just a single spin Colorado blade. The Colorado blade is basically just about a perfectly round blade. It's got a little bit of a shape to it, but it's pretty much a round blade. Then you have a tandem willow leaf. And when you talk about tandem willow leaf, this always kind of confused me. When you say tandem, you always kind of think two. Well, this is a tandem willow leaf that has a Colorado and a willow leaf, and then the willow leaf here is called a dual willow leaf. So you have tandem willow leaves, dual willow leaves, you have the little finesse spinnerbait, which is my signature series bait. Then you have wake baits, which you hear somebody talk about a wake bait today, most people think about a topwater waking bait. Well, the thing about the War Eagle wake bait is it is essentially a spinnerbait to create that same V'ing action on the surface of the water, and that's the purpose of the wake bait. And then the one that I failed to put up there on screen is the Indiana blade. And this would be a tandem Indiana. You've got a Colorado followed by an Indiana blade. But understanding the uses of all these different blade concepts is probably the biggest thing you need to understand. Whenever you want to create a lot of vibration, your three choices are going to be a Colorado, a turtleback, a wake bait, and an Indiana bait. If you want to create a lot of flash, then you go to your willow leaves, whether it be a tandem or a dual willow leaf. That's what you're trying to accomplish. The biggest difference between a tandem willow leaf and a dual willow leaf is the lift factor. When you're throwing a dual willow leaf, it's probably a better slow rolling bait than it is a high speed bait. I mean, you can fish a dual willow leaf fast, but its primary focus is slow rolling because the blades don't make the bait lift. When you throw a dual willow leaf out and let it fall and you crawl it along, the blades don't automatically make it lift as much as a tandem willow leaf will. So anytime you're wanting to slow roll a bait, I think a dual willow leaf's better. If you're wanting to create a lot of vibration up around the surface of the water, a tandem bait is probably the better way to go. And then, like I said, the other baits all have a specific purpose. Getting into buzzbaits. Buzzbaits is something that, in my opinion, I mean, what's funner than catching a fish on any topwater? I mean, there just really isn't anything any funner, in my opinion. And as far as I'm concerned, I'd rather throw a buzzbait than a walking bait and a lot of baits, but every bait has its specific time and place that it works. But the same deal with buzzbaits is you've got to pick the right tool for the right time of the year. You know, buzzbaits come in all different blade colors, blade styles, and the big thing about buzzbaits and spinnerbaits is making absolutely sure, you know, that you're throwing the right one. We've got a little bitty 1/4 ounce bait with a clacker on it, and each of these baits has a purpose, and each one of them I'm going to throw in specific situations. When it comes to equipment, I'm pretty much going to throw the same 2 rods. So it's a great bait to reach those hard to get to places that you might not be able to get, especially with treble hooked style baits. You know, like I said, this thing's almost weedless anywhere you throw it. Unless it catches on its way in, it's generally going to come back out. So a great bait for those situations. You get into the fall of the year, and buzzbaiting and spinnerbaiting are both big keys in the fall of the year. Typically in the fall, a dual willow leaf is probably my #1 spinnerbait choice. I feel like the fish really key on bait that time of the year. A spinnerbait resembles bait exceptionally well, and you can do a lot of different things with this. As far as the places you want to look for them, those fish are generally have been on the main lake. They start to migrate into the mouths of the creeks, main lake flats. Anywhere you find bait is going to be the key thing to figuring out where you're going to catch them on a spinnerbait. Again, it's not going to be my first choice if it's a bright, slick day. But if I get a ripple on the water, I'm going to just start chasing that ripple or that wind, and I'm going to catch a ton of fish on a big spinnerbait or a dual willow leaf spinnerbait. The other thing you want to pay attention to is, you know, boat docks, big bouldery rock, lay downs, you know, anything that's different, any kind of a transition area, and those are going to be key places to catching spinnerbait fish in the fall. And then buzzbaiting, the biggest thing in the fall that I look for when I'm looking to catch big fish is big shad. Lakes in our area, and are there gizzard shad up this far? I mean, do you guys have gizzard shad in these reservoirs up here? The great big 6, 8, 10-inch gizzard shad. That is the #1 key in the fall for making, you know, a buzzbait work. You know, the whopper plopper has gotten to be a big, big deal the last year or two. I think here in the next couple years, you're going to see that plopper kind of fade away, and a buzzbait's going to be the deal again, because those fish are going to get accustomed to seeing that whopper plopper. But the big thing is finding the biggest shad you can find, and sometimes
Welcome to Bass University TV, an online video training course where you'll learn champion bass fishing techniques from pro anglers Pete Glusek, Mike Iaconelli, and their talented special guests. From on the water to in the classroom, you'll learn sound techniques and strong fundamental bass fishing skills. Watch hours of video content on multiple topics at your own pace for a low monthly fee. Cancel at any time. Information is power in the sport of fishing, so learn from the very best. Subscribe to Bass University TV today.